So what is up, guys? Welcome to the first actual bit of music review that I'm doing for this channel. I would love to get this video out earlier, actually like at the end of January, but I didn't get behind the idea of doing this until February. So here we are, late into February, talking about music from January, because I'm a shitty YouTuber. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about 3 albums that I really loved coming out of January, 2 from bands that I heard of before, and 1 from that I had never heard of before, but it was my favorite album of the month, and it's fucking great. I'm going to talk about that last. I'm going to kind of talk about stuff that I knew about first, and then go into more that I didn't know about. So first, what we're going to talk about, it's kind of hard to tell what we're going to be talking about. Really, just coming out of nowhere. Talking about Fall Out Boy's Mania. That was the first album that really started off my year, was that album. That's what got me behind the idea of Forward Music Theory, was listening to that album. I didn't solidify that till later. But that album is fucking great. Especially when you look at it, a lot of people don't like it just because of they've been Fall Out Boy for forever. And it's, I like the older Fall Out Boy, but it's honestly, I do enjoy the direction that Fall Out Boy is going into. And while some of the songs are less iconic than they were back around Under the Cork Tree times, I still think I enjoy the albums as a whole better. And so I've been a Fall Out Boy for forever. The first album that I ever bought was Infinity on High. The first one that I ever listened to was from Under the Cork Tree. So I've been spending my entire life with this band. Seeing how they've grown and changed has been crazy. How much what they've done has changed over the years. In Mania, everyone had the kind of universal reaction when Young and the Menace dropped. That was the first song they released off this album. And it's what the fuck is this? This isn't Fall Out Boy at all. What's happening? And I admit, I didn't really like that song the first time I listened to it, but then I listened to it more and more, and I kind of got into it more and more, and I think that is a really good song, but it still doesn't fit in as much to the album as I would enjoy it to. It definitely was one of the outlier songs, and I hate when bands do that, where they release some the most out there songs first. I want to get a feel for the album first off, and you can't really do that. I'm probably going to talk about that in the February video too, because Man of the Woods did the same thing. There's Timberlake when he released Filthy, and the rest of the album was not that, but that's for next month's video. So talking about Mania, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite songs on that album. As much as it kind of is a cop-out to say my favorite songs are the ones they released beforehand, before the album actually came out, that's kind of the case. Champion, I love that song. Hold Me Hit or Don't, I love that song so much. It's a great song. It kind of does suck though, because they definitely put those songs at the beginning, because, these are the songs we're going to pound them into you as fast as we can, because you already kind of know what these songs are. I feel like the album definitely is heavily weighted towards the front, and I kind of hate stuff like that, because it's you can tell they put a lot of the effort into that first half of the album, and then the rest kind of just falls short. The second half, especially Bishop's Knife Trick, I just don't find nearly as enjoyable as the first half. I mean, they put Young and Menace at the end to kind of bring it all together, but I don't think that it does as much as a binding job as it wants, because the album doesn't end on that song. It's that song and then Bishop's Knife Trick. I fucking hate when bands do that. When it's the rest of the album is this upbeat thing, party party or whatever the fuck you want, and then the last song is this ballady, really mellow thing. It's I want that somewhere else in the album. Put it fucking song 5. Put that track 2. Don't make it so that you get everything hype and then bring it down for one last song. Because I always end up skipping those songs and I feel shitty about it. Because it's a good song, but I always skip it because I listen to the album as a whole. And then then I don't want to get brought down for the last song. And that's kind of I hate when I do that. The first album that ever did that to me was Panic at the Disco's Death of a Bachelor. Impossible Year, ending the album on that was a really shitty choice in my opinion. It's put those songs up higher. They act like the only songs that are going to get listened to are the party songs, the big hits. But if they put those kind of more ballady and low down tracks higher up, people would listen to them. It would be, you couldn't avoid it as easily. You wouldn't have the chance to just, you still have the chance to skip it if you really didn't like it, but it's easy to skip the last song of an album than it is to skip the second song when you're already just getting into it. You know what I mean? I love Mania. It's a great album. I'm not gonna give technical ratings because I'm not really a technical guy. I'm just here to talk about music that I enjoy, but I'm not going to actually give it a rating. I'm just talking about music I like, getting stuff. Maybe if you guys are I like your taste in music, or maybe I like your music, kind of feed my ego a little bit. All I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to give you some of my input on albums that I listen to, hoping that maybe you'll go out and listen to them. I'm not trying to put people down. So I'm not trying to make a finite number assigned to each album. I have a really shitty time trying to do that, and that's what most of the music review scene is on YouTube, and I get that, but I'm just trying to have a good time here and talk about music. So the next album that we're going to talk about is, I've heard a couple Migos songs before. I never actually listened to one of their albums, but I listened to Culture 2. That's a really enjoyable album. It definitely has a lot of problems, because you can tell that when you have an album that has 24 tracks on it, it's hard to kind of put that care and tenderness into each track. Now, you can tell that a lot of the tracks were just kind of put together, put on an album to sell, and that's a kind of shitty thing. But the songs that they felt were good, or that I feel were good, are kind of sprinkled throughout the album. So it isn't like a heavy weighted towards the front or heavy weighted towards the back. It's throughout the entire thing, you get some good songs, some bad songs, and I like at least having that mix. So the thing that I love about this album is just like the kind of vibe that it gives off. When I listen to rap music like that, it's kind of like stuff that I get behind more, and I I'll get into it. That's a fine thing to do. But when I listen to Culture 2, it's more of like a mellow, like, even the songs that are like the hype songs on the album, I can still like chill out to, and I enjoy that in an album. I enjoy having that kind of option, that it's like, oh, I can listen to this song, and maybe if I listen to that song as itself, could be like, oh, a little bit more like upbeat. But listen to the album as a whole, like, nothing really strikes out of the ordinary, and it kind of like is that kind of like more mellow, almost like a lo-fi hip hop kind of like, rap music. And I really enjoy that. Yeah, a lot of songs are good on that album, like Motorsport, that was a song that came out before the album came out. That's a great song. Or like Narcos, even like going off the album with Higher We Go, that's a great track too. Just like, especially to start the album on, because I feel like, especially when you have an album that has that many tracks, you definitely want to start off on good footing. You don't want to start with something garbage, because then, like, people won't get into it as much. So I feel like they do a really good job. Sorry, I don't feel like I have much to say about this album, but it is an enjoyable listen to, especially if you know any Migos before. It definitely, like, stays on par with that, from at least what I've listened to. I haven't listened to that much, but it is what it is. If you're going in there expecting Migos, you're going to get Migos. It definitely is a really enjoyable album to come out of 2018, and I'm happy that I took the time to listen to it. I've listened to it a lot, and so I'd recommend you guys go listen to that one too. So the last album that we're going to hit today is a band that I never heard of until last week when I made that video on Forward Music Theory, was the day that I found out about them and looked them up. It's Waterparks with their album Entertainment. I fucking love that album so much. Because I just love getting that feel, because it reminds me of like the old kind of like grungy, almost even like old Fall Out Boy. I was talking about that before. But it's like a more like a poppy version of that, but it still has like the kind of like screamy bits and has that in there that I fucking love. It is like what you said, oh, it's the emo music, but I do fucking love that so much. There's so many songs on that album. I mean, there's only 10 songs on the album, but that's great when you have like that little amount of songs, because it means that I can grow a connection to each track. So it's like, listening to that album over and over again, I already was able to learn, like, all of the songs. Because the big thing for me to like music is knowing that I can sing along to it in a car ride. That's an A+ in my book. But I feel that this album does have a little bit of a problem, because all my favorite songs are the last 3 songs on the album. Tantrum, Cry Baby, and Sleep Alone. All right at the end of the album. So, maybe people would like some of the other songs in there, like Lobotomy. But for me, the best songs are at the end, and ending it just on that is kind of like, I find myself constantly going back to just those 3 tracks, and I hate when that happens, because I want an entire album to catch me. Have it good space throughout the album, but it just hits you at the end, here it is, and I don't like that as much. It does start off on a good note though, because 1111 is a really great song as well. But again, I feel like it's just kind of like end capped. Like, 1 good song at the beginning, 3 good songs at the end, the rest kinda, it's still good music, but it's like, if you were to say that like the last, like the 4 end cap songs are 10 out of 10, then the in-between songs would be like an 8 or a 7 out of 10. They're just a little bit more subpar, especially having them like as like the meat of the album. Like, there's nothing in the middle that keeps you going. It's just like, I want to listen to the 4 songs at the end. I don't want to listen to the rest of the stuff in between. But I do enjoy this album, and I will talk about this album more, most likely. I'll probably do like a separate video just on Waterparks, because I really enjoy that music a lot. And because it really harkens me back to like the older kind of like pop and like older grunge music. And I love seeing that kind of stuff in like this modern age. And especially because like when you get that kind of music, you expect just like the like, oh, like shitty emo lyrics, like, oh, I cut myself, you know, blah, 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 whatever people are stereotypically going to refer to it as. But the album actually has a lot of deep meanings in songs that it sounds really surface level the first listen time through. But then you think about it more and like it actually has a lot more meaning to it. And I love when you have lyrics that make you think about it. And it's like, they're easy to get because they are very surface level, but they do have meaning at surface. It isn't just like you got to dig for the deeper meaning. But having both of them there gives a good range so that anyone can listen to that album and get something out of it. And I love having that. So I'd definitely say, for me at least, Waterparks' Entertainment was the best album to come out of January of 2018. And I'm definitely going to do something else with that album other than just this video. Sorry this is like such an informal thing. I just wanted to put more videos out and talk about music I like. It isn't like, oh, here's a 5 out of 10 rating for this song. I'm just trying to talk to you guys and get more stuff out there. But if you enjoy this kind of video, leave a like. If you hate this kind of video and would want to see like either no music reviews or want me to like dive into it more and try to just like, oh, give it ratings, then like leave a dislike about that or comment your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed already, do that. That really helps me out. Know that I'm actually making a difference with what I do. I'm not just talking to a camera for no fucking reason. I'll see you guys soon with more content like this. Or maybe other stuff. I don't fucking know. Bye!